So I gotta be honest here. This final season of Riverdale has been kinda hard for me to cover. Like normally, over the last 6 years I've been doing this or whatever it is, there's some kind of like overarching mystery story thing that we're trying to like solve while also pointing out the absurd Riverdale-ness of every episode. And that's been a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. But here we are, the final season of the show. Literally only 4 episodes left of all of Riverdale. And nothing's freaking happening. I mean, like, things happen, I guess, but like the final season of one of the most hilariously absurd pieces of television ever made. And it's just going out with like it's just nothing. But all the same, let's get into the second to last Riverdale video I will ever make. Probably, hopefully, because I mean, I don't know if I can do this again. So it's time for Halloween. Very poignant in early July. But Riverdale, of course, can't just do Halloween, okay? No. Of course, there has to be some kind of catch, right?
Riverdale has a funny relationship with Halloween.
Dare I ask?
Unfortunately, we don't embrace All Hallows Eve the same way Greendale does.
Trick-or-treating's for kids. Teenagers aren't allowed into the streets after sundown.
Oh yeah, well, what about the 30-year-old high school sophomores like everyone in this room right now? So for some reason, teenagers are not allowed to trick-or-treat, but instead they have to just be off doing whatever. Which like I've always thought was kind of weird, you know, because like when I was a teenager, I wanted a bunch of free candy, right? You kidding me? Now, teenagers aren't supposed to trick-or-treat around the neighborhood where I know where you are and don't have to worry about you. Of course not. You're supposed to be off somewhere doing something I don't know anything about. I'm a great parent. And of course, Veronica has the same idea.
Dad and his officers drive around, make sure no one's cruising the roads, raising Cain.
Back home in Duck Creek, we never celebrated Halloween.
But teenagers need Halloween. To dress up in costumes and masks and pretend to be someone else.
Well, that's just it, Veronica. I'm always wearing a mask because...
I'm 14 and I'm so deep because I watched Fight Club and Joker and totally misunderstood the message.
But okay, so the only real semblance of any kind of actual story comes from the Milkman killer that we learned about in my last video. Someone's dressed up like a milkman, they came and they killed Ethel's parents, they also murdered Jughead's novelist friend, and who knows what they're gonna do next, right? So Jughead tries to figure out who wrote the original Milkman killer comic book that this real-life killer is seemingly trying to emulate.
Mr. Fieldstone, do you remember who wrote the Milkman story inside this issue?
Kid, I haven't the foggiest. But most of our pep comic freelancers will be at the annual Halloween office party. Why don't you come by and sniff around? You might find the guy.
So he heads over to the company party while Veronica is also throwing her own little Halloween shindig. And this party, okay, let me tell you right now. So like years ago, 4 teenagers were getting all rambunctious and being ne'er-do-wells and all that. And they ended up drowning in the river, which is why teenagers are now banned from having any fun ever in Riverdale. And at Veronica's Halloween party, okay, she puts on a show where they pretend to be the 4 drowned kids coming back to life. Like, who thought this was okay? Hey, let's pretend to be the 4 kids who tragically died and make their families relive the worst night of their lives over and over again, just for fun. It's like those true crime YouTubers and podcasters, like whenever some 14-year-old girl is kidnapped and murdered, you know, and they're like, I can't wait to make a video about this. But then I get emails about how I should stop making fun of Disney Channel movies. Like, sure, that's fair. Anyway, so Jughead is at this party trying to get some information.
Did you write The Milkman Cometh? Or do you know who did?
Yeah, that was one of Ted's stories.
Ted?
Ted's dead. Left a note saying he'd never write another story as good as the Milkman one. It's a metaphor. A critique of America. It's saying that the enemy is us.
It's not the communists. It's not the axis of evil. It's us.
Like, Riverdale just has so many things it wants to say at the most random times. Anyway, so Ethel was imprisoned with the Sisters of Quiet Mercy, but she ran away and is staying at Brad Rayberry's old apartment until she turns 18 and then she can just do whatever she wants, right? But guess who shows up and has no idea what's coming for him?
Jeepers.
You know, Ethel Muggs really is just the most underappreciated character of this whole show, I've always thought. Like, we have all these other girls here, and they're all different enough to be distinct, but like, Ethel is not at all similar to any other character in the entire show. I mean, she draws horror comic books. She's also with the alternate universe reality demigod Jughead in the bunker. She reversed killed her own serial killer. Anyway, so because she did all this, she has now been fully exonerated from the people thinking that she killed her own parents.
It's obvious what happened. This drifter, his mind was poisoned by the Drek pet comics publishers, and he was inspired to go on a murderous rampage, much like the original comic book. And then he must have begun killing to satisfy some insane bloodlust.
Comic books, video games, pornography. It's all ruining our American society, unlike, most other countries who also have these things but seem to be doing pretty okay. But of course, Jughead and Ethel don't want to bow down to the powers that be and stop making comic books.
Well, the way I see it is we either bury our heads in the sand and pray that the storm will pass over us, or we run headlong into the thunder and thumb our noses at it.
You are wise beyond your years, you know that?
Well, sir, I am pushing 40 right now, so let's not get too carried away. However, this is when the Red Scare of communism comes to Riverdale and no one wants to buy comics anymore and everyone's trying to snitch on each other.
Congressional hearings had the FBI investigate studios, pressured people to name names.
Targeting the innocent to gain even more power and influence.
Come on, guys, this is America, okay? If you're innocent, you have nothing to worry about.
If you're innocent, you'll be... Oh, Kevin. Oh, Kevin. Oh, you're adorable. Now, while this is all going on, Betty is trying to get with Archie and Reggie at the same time. And so for Halloween, Betty decides to just date both of them and, whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, gee whiz, Betty, you look tremendous.
Ring the bell. I'm knocked out.
Who are you supposed to be?
Goldilocks, of course. She couldn't decide on a bed, so she tried all three.
This is like the cheesiest porn video. Well, there's no way to know which one's just right unless I try all three, you know what I'm saying? So then we get to see Reggie's flirtation skills on full display.
We got lots of wolves in Duck Creek.
Pretty scary growing up there.
More like exciting. Though they never caused me any trouble. Maybe because they recognized a fellow alpha.
Yeah, okay, dude, whatever you say. But of course, ultimately, nothing happens with anyone and they all go home for the night. So as I mentioned last time, Betty's mom has disowned her because she's such a little Jezebel. And so Betty moves out of her house and is now staying with Veronica, at least for the time being. And then there's this little welcome party thing with Kevin and his boyfriend and Veronica and Betty.
They keep their liquor cabinet well stocked.
Kev, this is so much more of a kick than when you and I were going steady.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up again. This is why I've always thought dating in your friend group is like the weirdest thing, okay? Because it's like, hey, remember that time when we dated and it totally sucked? Good times.
Well, now that we're talking about both Archie and Reggie, Kevin, Clay, you fellas are always in the boys' locker room together. Tell us, who's packing the most heat?
Where's the show going?
Hard to tell.
Oh, come off it. We all know how it goes. It's after gym class. You're having a steam. You're snapping towels.
Okay. First of all, you need to know a thing or two about shrinkage, all right? And despite everything you've probably heard, most guys are growers, okay? I'm just saying, maybe don't believe the rumors, because it's about the motion of the ocean anyway, and why'd you have to go tell everyone all that, Jessica? And as the night goes on, things just go full Riverdale.
I read in Dr. Kingsley's book that 81% of girls experiment with other girls before they turn 18.
Have you ever?
No, I haven't. But I've thought about it.
With whom?
With you.
Yeah, I already kind of figured this was the case, but now I know for sure that this whole season is literally just adopting every single fan theory, fan canon, fan ship, fan service thing ever. It's just about every Riverdale character getting with every other character just to give the 12 people who still watch the show what they want to say, you know what I mean?
That is so strange. I was just about to call you.
I love you, B.
I love you too, V.
All this time, we've been thinking, when are we going to climb Mount Archibald? When in fact,
maybe there are other, more emotionally complex mountains to climb.
Yeah, Riverdale's just doing the J.K. Rowling school of retconning characters now. And then the final Riverdale plot twist is that we, the viewers, have also actually been gay this whole time. Also, I've heard a lot of girls over the years say, oh, dating a girl must be so much better and more fulfilling. But ask any of your queer lady friends how their love life is going, okay? Chances are not well, because turns out no matter who they are, most people just kind of suck. Later on, Riverdale's putting on their Miss Teen Queen pageant, and Betty doesn't want to do it because her mom wants her to, so obviously she won't.
I hope you don't expect me to compete.
Oh, no, of course not. Why would you want to participate in anything so glorious and wholesome and all-American as Miss Riverdale Teen Queen when you're already holding the crown for Miss Grumpy Pants USA?
Actually, this whole episode is really just full of like the best 1950s insults you've ever heard.
She let a greaser paw at her like a dirty rag.
You're cruising for a bruising, you snot-nosed square.
Okay, wait. Quite the cautionary tale, if you ask me.
Funnily enough, no one is you goon from Saskatoon.
I'm telling you, we gotta bring some of these back, okay? And long story short, Ethel Muggs actually ends up winning the competition, and we find out that she can sing real good too. I'm telling you, Ethel Muggs needs her own spin-off right now. But anyway, so during all of this, Archie's been getting into poetry writing because he's a sensitive guy. And the English teacher is really pushing him to like dig deep and write your truth, man. But during the communist scare that stopped Jughead and Ethel's comic books, the English teacher gets fired and replaced.
Excuse me. Are you Archie Andrews?
What? They brought back Miss Grundy? Remember back in season 1 when they had like a whole thing going on and like no one really thought it was that weird? We were all so innocent back then. Now after this, for whatever reason, Kevin and his boyfriend decide to write a musical entirely about Archie.
Please tell me it's Sunday, there's still one more fun day, another day of summer, please.
Like literally the name of the episode is Archie the Musical, but not a single song about his abs the whole time? Psst, get on my level, Riverdale.
Say, Tom, how do we get more young people to watch our show?
Simple, my boy. I'll show you how. When you realize that you really have nothing to say, but you gotta fill 40 minutes anyway. Who cares about the story? I mean, hey, what the heck? Just take a look at all these abs and pecs.
Sometimes I wonder, what if our show made sense? Like maybe go back to season 1? Boy, are you dense?
Just look at how they ripple. Come check out Archie's nipple. All you need is abs and more abs. And pecs!
But real talk, I love how they get rid of the people who don't want to sing in this episode.
Prom night.
And I am out. I'm sorry, Kevin, Clay. I cannot in good conscience participate in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna back window it too.
Yeah, it's totally not because I can't sing or anything, okay? Why would you even say that? Also, it's a little weird how these guys just wrote an entire musical about Archie specifically. You know, like I wrote one poem about Lindsay from English class and I got called into the office, but then this dude's writing a whole Broadway show and the entire school's in on it? Now, aside from the Milkman serial killer thing that got solved in about 4 seconds, there's also this kind of underlying story about Cheryl's dad and how he's planning or trying to do something, and he's deflecting from it by blaming comic books or the basketball team or whatever.
As for the season, yes, Cheryl, it will continue as scheduled. It must.
Are you truly so desperate to relive your glory days as a bulldog that you would forsake your own son?
Yes. I was a bulldog, and I'd do anything to go back to those days again.
You know, growing up in a small town in Iowa, like, so many people are like this, and it's just the saddest thing you'll ever see. Like, their lives peaked at 17, and then they're just miserable for, like, the entire rest of their lives, apparently. I wanted to do so many things, but then I got married and had kids when I was 22. Oh, if only this all could have been avoided somehow. But all the same, that's pretty much where Riverdale is right now, so, yeah, like I said back at the beginning of the video, nothing's freaking happening! Riverdale's always been kind of episodic in that, like, a lot of episodes are not really tied to each other at all. Like, characters will do and say things that have no bearing on themselves 3 episodes from now, you know what I mean? But this final season, like the final big send-off of the entire show is just, like, I don't know, maybe at the very end of the season it's all gonna come together somehow, but like, I have no idea how that would even be possible, but sure, I guess. All the same, we only have 4 episodes left of Riverdale. The final episode is airing on August 23rd, so I'll see you around then. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please watch another one, because that's how the algorithm works. So click on this one that's being recommended to you right now, right here on the screen. It actually helps a lot if you do that, because like that's how YouTube knows that my videos are worth caring about. Also, if you have any movies or TV shows you'd like to recommend, send me an email at alexmeyerscontact@gmail.com, and I'll put them on my absurdly long list of movies that I need to get to at some point. Anyway, hope I made your day a little bit better, and I'll see you all next time.